What is your purpose here? How many of you are there?
Welcome to Voyage of the Geek for another week. Episode 3 of our deep dive into the 1981 classic, superhero classic from the Disney Studios, Condorman. Joining me as always, Dan Miller, Tom McGill, Rick Legato. So how are we, gentlemen, by the way? Say hello.
Very good.
Hello, good.
We've We've played with this film in a quite a deep previous 2 episodes, probably because of our association with it in a nostalgic sense, but also there's a lot there to unpack behind the scenes in the writing. We've probably found more interest in this film than the film held as a cinematic activity. So. Would you agree with that?
I think a lot of the audience, it has a lot of nostalgia value for a lot of people, and I think we've tapped into that for sure.
And so, in our final episode, we're going to I'm going to check on whether the guys were actually paying attention during the film, and to do that, we've got a little bit of a quiz, and we call that quiz the Probe.
I'm a scientist.
Don't cross the streams.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
It may shock you. It might even horrify you.
So, the Probe. Basically, we're going to put the guys in the hot seat, really, but unfortunately, we don't have buzzers. Normally, when we're around the desk, we have buzzers. So, how are we going to buzz in for our to answer the questions? Some have suggested we've thrown some ideas around for using our names, but Tom, what are you going to buzz in with?
Buzz. No, I'm just going to go.
All right, Tom's got some incredible. Have you ever heard Tom's sound effects? His digital sound effects before?
There'll be a new one every week.
He used to freak me out in the classrooms. He'd come in and do this thing, and I swear to God, it sounded like a machine. So, what's yours again? Remind me.
It's going to be for today.
Okay, nice. Rick, what have you got?
I don't know. I'm trying to think of something percussive, basically.
All right, we're going to pass on you. We're going to move to Dan. We're going to come back to you. So be ready. So Dan, what have you got?
All right, well, I'm doing Condorman laser beams, so I'll be jub.
Yeah, very nice. Rick, what have you got, mate?
Nice.
I got nothing.
Well, you can say your own name if you want to, or you can say Condorman.
You can be Condorman.
Condorman.
There you go.
All right, nice. Condorman. So we've got our buzzers for our The Probe for this episode, so let's get started. Turn that up a little bit. Let's get started with question number 1. Which company distributed the film?
Jub.
Oh, Dan.
Aha, I had the buzzer noise.
Yes, Dan gets it. Tom, what part of this don't you understand about the buzzer system? The answer to the question is not the buzzer.
It's my buzzer. Buena vista. I will say that every time. Did I say that? Did I say something else?
So my answer is Buena Vista.
Okay, you're correct. Any interesting?
Well done, Dan.
Anything interesting about Buena Vista? It is the distribution arm of Disney, yeah? We all are familiar with that. So a lot of these
Yes.
films that get distributed that aren't classical Disney themes and characters are always distributed as Buena Vista, like the Tooth Fairy and a lot of those Tim Allen Santa Claus movies and things like that. So if you ever want to have an interesting journey into the side avenue of film distribution for Disney, look up Buena Vista.
So then, what is the difference between Buena Vista and Touchstone?
Touchstone, I couldn't answer
Because
that.
Touchstone is also Disney, and that's their more adult oriented.
I didn't know that. Was Touchstone
Stuff.
always Disney?
I think so. I think they made that label to distance it from all the kiddie stuff, because Touchstone Pictures makes films that are not necessarily family movies. Where I think Buena Vista makes the family movie.
Do you think Touchstone came about after Uncle Walt passed on?
Didn't look any of that up.
I'm
prepare
pretty
any of that.
sure Uncle Walt wouldn't have any association with any adult content. You know what I mean? He was all about the kids and the
Well, it's
Nazis,
not adult
and the Nazis
content
if you
in
go into
the
it.
sense. Yeah.
All right. Cool. Next question.
More serious films, I should say, not non-family films.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not adult. Yeah, thanks, Dad. Yeah. Correct.
Disney's adult content.
Okay, next question. Watch the following clip.
Relax, take it easy. Condorman would find enough excitement in New York City to last a lifetime.
No. Besides, Superman's got the Big Apple sewn up.
So what's wrong with
Jump,
this?
jump,
Dan's jumped in. I haven't read the question, but I'm happy with that.
Cautiously waiting for the host to finish speaking.
Oh, you got to get in there and you
I get
need it to win it.
Okay.
Well,
All
Dan,
right. All
Dan
right.
was in first. What's your
That's
answer,
how
Dan?
you want to do it.
The Superman doesn't hang out in the Big Apple.
No, he doesn't. In fact, I don't even know whether the Big Apple exists in the world of Superman, does it? Is there a
No,
New York
Gotham
in...
exists.
I don't think there's a
Well,
New York.
I think Gotham is essentially New York, right? But
Well,
it's
Metropolis.
the superhero version.
Metropolis is Chicago, isn't it?
Were you going to say Gotham or Metropolis, Dan?
Metropolis. Gotham's for Batman.
Exactly. Which apparently,
Yeah.
according to
Morocco.
the latest movies, are really close to one another. They sort of across the bay. You can see Metropolis from Gotham apparently in the latest movies. So points go to Dan. Dan's yes.
So how did they screw that up in the movie? Woody's statement. Or were you saying before that they might have deliberately screwed it up so that they didn't get copyright?
Condorman would
Woody
find enough
said-
excitement in New York
wrong.
City to
Woody
last a
says
lifetime.
Superman's got the Big Apple sewn
Besides,
up.
Superman's got the Big Apple sewn up.
The Superman does not have the Big Apple sewn up.
No.
New York is not
Spider-Man
associated with Superman in any way, shape, or form.
But do you think
they
that
would
this is
have
a
been-
copyright thing to protect copyright? See,
I don't know,
so
because
if-
I would have
if
thought
DC
Superman's the
complains-
copyright element, not
Well, they're
not
saying
New
the
York.
word Superman. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you see, then they can say it's a different Superman. It's not that Superman.
Only if, well, they could, because they could show a script that says Superman.
Was
It's two different words.
Superman
Or-
the film, guys? When in the Superman the movie,
Mm-hmm.
when he's flying over a town, where was that filmed? What town is that?
The
Because
town
that
or the
does look
city?
very New Yorky.
Oh no, the city was probably New York. Yeah,
New York.
as
yeah,
a
so
as a
maybe
set,
that's why they.
as a location. Yeah, you're
As a
probably
set,
right.
as a location, yeah, that looks like New York in the Superman movies.
Yeah, but it's Metropolis.
Yeah.
In the law, in the actual writing. So Dan is out to an early lead. When Natalia returns from Istanbul, Krokov is
Not giving Dan the pleasure this
Which
time.
city are they in? And that was Tom, yeah? Which city are they
Moscow.
in? Moscow. Let's have a look. And sure enough, it is Moscow. And points go to Tom. Well done, mate.
One thing we didn't mention was all these little title cards that
I
come
liked
up.
them.
Plus they were using
And the
those.
transitions.
Can I do with my hand? Yeah, the transitions.
Yeah, the comic book
these-
transitions.
You know, the transitions like in.
Star
In
Wars
comic, and those
transitions.
title cards they look like little comic book little
true.
panels as well, right?
They do.
So they make the
nice touch.
transitions like comic books and also those things.
Yep.
I like it.
Yeah,
like
I
it.
liked it. The big box framing. Next question. What was the first thing Woody did when he returned from Istanbul?
What was Wabadap? That's not even your buzzer sound.
It was,
Uncertain.
I'm pretty sure it was Tom. Second there was Rick. He was pretty close. I'm pretty sure Rick knew what the answer was and then couldn't remember what his buzzer was.
I'm not sure that I know what the answer is, so maybe Rick will still get the point.
Rick, I'm going to let you come in because I could see Rick actually react, and then I saw his brain actually work through his eyes saying, "What's my fucking buzzer again?" Go for it, Rick.
What was it to draw Natalia?
Absolutely. He sketched Natalia and created Laser Lady. Fantastic. Rick's off the mark. 10 points.
Well, that wasn't really the first thing he did, really.
It was the first thing the movie saw. But you're right. Yes, maybe when the cameras weren't on, he may have done something else. Maybe there's other stages that you go through before you get to sketching. After his
You have to memorize. You have to bring it all up again.
All right. Next question. How did Natalia describe Woody to Krokov when she returned from Istanbul?
Condorman!
Nice, Rick. Rick, go ahead.
A secret agent? No.
Not the answer I have.
Smooth.
I need something a little bit. Well, that's closer. Who else? I've got two. There's two things she said to describe him. And he even reiterates it back to her.
One of them was that she said he's a little like you, which he didn't quite like to hear.
No, I didn't even hear that in the film.
No, she does.
Does she?
Mm-hmm.
She
says how awesome he is.
I don't know. What I heard her say and what I heard him reiterate back to her, because he actually says, "And did you notice anything else while you were noticing that he was very smooth and very tough?" So that's how
points.
That's how. Yeah, I think Rick gets the points. She described him as very smooth and very tough.
Condorman! Sorry, it's late at night. I'm a little bit batty.
Gone are the days of the female getting dressed behind the little petition thing, yeah? Remember that was a thing in film?
Yeah, they don't have those anymore.
Those
I've never seen it anywhere else,
things. All right.
Yes.
Points went to Rick on that one. Ooh. Triple question points. This is for 30 points. This question.
Okay.
All right. This is a bit of catch up. Anybody dribbling behind?
Dribbling behind.
Okay.
Dribbling behind.
Here we go.
Triple points.
For the points, for 30 points. How many Porsches were in the Broknovich?
Chop, chop, chop.
12.
Ooh, it's got to be Dan. Dan was quick on the chop, chop, chop.
5.
Correct.
5 Porsches.
5 total Porsches.
But they're not all the same type of Porsche, are they?
Yes, but one of them's different. And that's why I had to think.
Hey, they're all Porsches. That was the question. Don't ruin future questions.
No, I'm not. I'm just pointing out that some...
Future questions. Future questions.
Oh, future questions. Okay.
For extra points, I will tell you the correct spelling of Porsche.
Okay.
Oh, did I
if you want that.
Did I get it wrong? Porsches.
Yeah, you just left
They're
out an
Porsches.
S.
Porsches.
So Dan got the answer wrong. There were no Porsches.
There were no Porsches in the Broknovich. Yes. Okay. Hang on. Dan gets the points. And Dan's broken out to a 50-point lead.
It's my time to shine, people.
Looks to Dan.
Okay. And my halfway mark point scoring background music is, of course, This Island Earth music, which seems to fit perfectly. Next question.
Suspenseful.
Name at least 2 unique features of Morovich's lead car.
Beep, beep. Condorman!
Oh, Tom, very quick. What have you got, Tommy?
It had the biggest spoiler that ever was seen on a car, and it had a little radar on top.
Tom gets the points. Did I give you extra points then, Tom? I hope not. No. It's okay. Bazooka Boy meets Hannibal Smith. Who else shares the name Hannibal Smith? That was quick. Rick is in. What do you got for me, Rick?
Hannibal Smith is the leader of the A-Team.
Oh, he's got it. He has absolutely nailed it. And I don't know which came first or what was influenced, but that's a very unique name to appear in popular media.
I wanted the same thing
Smith,
myself, actually.
Yeah. Hannibal Smith is played by George Papard, the leader of the A-Team.
Well, another one of his characters was Sponge Man,
Could
right?
be,
And I
could be
wonder if he's
SpongeBob.
like, is he the father of Spongebob? That's the question.
Could be.
Then who's the mother?
Oh, Sponge Lady.
Babette.
Sponge Man and Sponge Lady had a little child.
That's on the adult Disney Channel.
That's one of those.
You can check that out later.
films.
Again, next question. What was unique about the kids outside the inn?
Yeah, they go beep beep.
I think it was.
They're from Children.
I think it was Tom. Was that Tom or who?
Oh, I'm making. Oh, yeah, this is a problem. I have to start saying names, otherwise you don't know.
They're
who's
from
making
Children of
stuff.
Corn.
Was that
Well,
Tom?
the
or
unique thing is that they bloody all have the very same comic book, and they're freaky as hell.
That's not.
That's scary. That is, if I look out the
That's-
window and that looks at me, stares at me. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I'd
turn
be out of
back and
there.
Go
I
back
don't
into
know.
my room.
I don't know. I can
Lock
see
the
that
door.
as. I could see that happening. Probably not within 7 days of the comic being drawn, but yes, no, that's not the answer I have, and I've got video evidence to back up my answer.
I know, actually. I know something.
So you're buzzing in, Rickers?
Condorman!
Condorman. Okay. What do you got, Rick?
They've got. They're in either. I can't remember. Was it?
I think they were in Switzerland,
or-
weren't they?
Italy.
Switzerland.
Where's
Yeah,
the
they-
Matterhorn?
in Italy.
Switzerland? Yeah.
And they all
I
have
think-
They all speak English and American accents.
Rick's got the points.
Ah,
Are her, aren't you?
unlike
Of course
Woody.
it's her. It is. It isn't. It is.
Yes.
What is this? Why are you children staring at me?
The Empress of Space, Time, and Beauty. Laser Lady.
Laser.
He does.
That's
sound
what
like
they call Little Chicago in the Spanish Alps, the famous town.
They are the kids from Children of the
How
Corn.
did you get to be Laser Lady?
So absolutely, Rickers gets the points. They all had American accents, or at least the ones
Now,
that
where
spoke did.
was this film filmed? This film was not filmed anywhere on American soil. So they must, if they are American children, they must be the kids of
Cast and crew, maybe.
of the cast and crew.
Yeah,
Or
maybe.
the embassy.
Yeah. But rest assured, they were not European
International
kids.
school.
There's
No,
like
they weren't.
Europeans don't say laser as laser.
Laser. No one says laser.
They roll the R
except
in
for
the
Americans.
United States, don't they? They laser.
Well, they just butchered the English language generally.
Yep.
Unless maybe, like, filming locations are listed as Monte Carlo, Paris, and Switzerland. But they must just be listing the outside locations, because all the interior shots and the stage stuff, that would have been shot on a soundstage
On set,
either in
yeah.
America.
Yeah, probably.
But then this
Burbank
is an
or something.
outside shot again, so maybe, yeah, who knows?
I mean, it's
Just would
probably
have been shot in Switzerland.
international schools for the business people and diplomats and stuff.
They could have even flown them in. Like Disney's got the dollars, mate. Might have brought them in.
When they were shooting in Paris, it was like literally for 15 minutes while they set up Condorman underneath the Eiffel Tower and he jumped off.
Yep.
So there's not a lot of that international stuff going on. So it's probably out in the back lock of somewhere or other.
It's just nothing else is listed as a shooting location, that's all.
All right, Rick
But
takes
there
the
must have been
points.
more.
Next question. How did Krokoff die?
Chop.
Dan.
Krokov didn't die. He just jumped out of the boat and
No,
he just bobbed around in the
He was
water.
attacked by a shark.
Hang on, is this in the second movie that never got made?
I took a still image and may have added some stuff from the film.
Some
He
creative interpretation.
He thrashes around in the water, but yes, he doesn't die. So Dan gets the
That is
points.
probably the exact facial expression that Christopher Reed would have if he was being chopped up.
Absolutely. The facial expression
would be
actually
biting
prompted
the shark
the
back.
prompted
is
the
what
word.
he would
Well,
be
that's
doing.
right. Yes, he punched the shark
That's the
in the
shark's
nuts. All right, next question. Which stadium did Woody take Natalia to watch baseball?
Dodge, beep, beep. Bloop, bloop.
Tom?
Isn't it the Dodger Stadium?
It was the Dodger Stadium, so you get the 10 points. But for an extra 10 points, which city in America is the Dodger Stadium in?
I would, if I'm guessing. No, I shouldn't guess it because I'm. I'll
You
just
don't
guess
lose
Chicago,
your 10
but I'm not
points.
sure.
So you keep
No, yeah, I don't know.
Rickers?
Los Angeles?
Los Angeles.
Extra 10 points go to Rick. That's exactly
Was that
right.
a guess? Was that a guess, Rick, or did you know that?
Or did you look it up? Did you look that up? Did you Google that?
That was a sort of educated guess.
So Tommy gets some points. Ricky gets some
I'm probably
points.
the only American on the planet who doesn't know that.
Actually, yeah, I keep forgetting.
I'm the only American
Tom is
out of us
American.
four, and I'm the one who didn't know that. But that's baseball.
Because we normally don't associate baseball with Los Angeles.
No.
Okay, next question. This question is worth triple points, so we could see a real shuffling in the leaderboard here. What
Bring
was
it
the
on.
text message on the Goodyear Blimp?
Jump.
Dan?
Welcome to the USA, Natalia.
That's as close as I would have gotten it here.
Welcome home.
Paraphrases
to the
are
USA.
okay, aren't they?
So anyone else?
Natalia?
Anyone else? What have you got, Rick?
Welcome home to the USA, Natalia.
Anything for you, Tom?
If you give me 5 minutes.
No.
It takes you that long to Google it?
So I'll give it to Dan because
don't
he
think I
was.
can Google that.
I'll give it to Dan because he was the quickest in, and he was very close. It's welcome Natalia to the USA.
USA. Son of a...
So it was pretty close. Dan gets the points. And next question.
You know how like Diana Ross was up in the blimp there?
Yep.
And there was some other dude? I thought that was the president of the United States.
Oh, did you? I think it's
Yeah,
the head of the CIA.
Above.
Because you only ever sort of see him from the back and you don't ever see his face.
Yeah. That dude is Robert Arden. Does that name sound familiar?
He's an
No.
actor. Yeah, he's done some stuff.
Wasn't he the actor from This Island Earth?
Ooh. Was he?
I don't know.
Can someone check for me? It
who's
just
got that
popped
open?
into my head. Robert Arden, let me have a look.
He didn't play Brack, did he? Did he play Brack?
When was This Island Earth done?
Ooh, 55?
1960 something. 59.
59, yeah.
Let me have a look.
Well, I think it would have been cool if he was the president of the United States flying around. in
He
the
wasn't
blimp.
in the film. He was.
No.
When you look at IMDb against his name, he's
There's a writer I think we looked at. That was Robert Arden.
the head of the CIA.
Head of CIA, yeah.
Okay,
Boring.
next question.
Sorry, I got excited then.
Next question. What was Plan B?
Ooh. I was first.
Was that you,
There
Dan?
was no plan B.
There was a Plan B. There
Yeah,
was an
that was
absolutely
my-
Plan B. And even in the film, it says this was Plan B.
Oh, well, then Plan B is whatever they can come up with that is needed.
No, there was a
At the time.
specific Plan B.
Not at the time when they mentioned it. It was
But
getting
later
them
on-
out of the.
But
it was,
later on, they do say this is Plan B.
yeah, this is when he was dressed up as the policeman from Monaco and came.
Is
with
that
the
your
bloody-
answer,
with a
Tom?
little
Is that your
Fiat
answer?
500? Yes, sure. As good
Rescued
as
by
any.
Harry disguised as a detective from Monte Carlo.
Ah, that's right. Yep, he did say that.
So Tommy can get the points. He took his time to get there, reluctantly.
Well, I'm with Dan. There was no plan B until they needed.
Well, except for the fact that he says, this is plan B.
It's a lie. He's a spy. They always lie.
Final scores. Dan, the big victory. I think you must have got both 30-point questions in the quiz. And also Tom and Rick equal second place. Equal last, but equal second place in the big quiz.
Jesus.
That is the pro.
Both of us together, we still don't reach Dan.
Remember that.
Yeah. So who's won so far? We've had 3 shows. Rick, I think you've won an episode. You've won one of the probes. Dan, have you won twice or once?
I don't know. I think I'm doing pretty damn good though.
Tom, have you won an episode?
Pretty sure.
I don't remember.
Then Dan's won twice because Tom would remember.
We can look it up on the interwebs once you publish the final episode of that first show.
Awesome. So unfortunately, Tom's he's sitting in a bad position for having to purchase the Lamborghini streetcar that goes to the winner of the
it's going to be for Dan then.
of the series.
Yes.
And Dan's out to an
I'm
early
changing
lead.
it to a Kit Nova Sterling. Actually, is what I'd prefer.
Smart.
Much
In a box,
considerably cheaper than a Lamborghini.
Smart.
and you have only 3 days to build it and send it and ship it from
No, it's a
wherever
kit
you.
car, Dan. You get the fun of. You don't want me to give you a model airplane and then build it for you before
But you
I
do
hand
have
you
to
the
build all
finished
the
model.
bits.
Okay.
No. The whole point of a kit thing is the fun. Building is all the fun.
And it's going to have big stickers of eagles that I can put on it.
You're gonna get parcels. You'll have different parcels on your front door.
All right.
Thank you, gentlemen, for another excellent episode of The Probe.
What the hell is going on around here?
Back off, man. I'm a scientist.
There is no track. Don't cross the streams.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm afraid I can't do that.
It may shock you. It might even horrify you.
Well, that's it for another episode of The Probe, and it's actually closing in on the end of our third and final episode for our look at the 1981 classic Condorman. Before we sign off, gentlemen, I'd love to find out what your rating is for this film on our standard scale of, there is actually a new potential category that we could add to this. Dan brought up the other day, but basically we say buy, borrow, or burn in our rating system. But there was another one we discussed the other day, didn't we, Dan? What was that?
That is protect your memories. Protect your nostalgia.
So if we were trying to influence people whether to buy, borrow, or burn, this particular film falls into a very unique, specific category that's off to the side, which is if you saw this like we did in the 80s, don't watch it again. And my opinion is there's a lot of Disney films from that era that you probably shouldn't see again because it sort of falls apart a little bit. Yeah, would we agree?
Your memories are better than the movie. Your memories get 4 stars. The movie, quite a few less stars.
The editing and the writing in your head's better than the actual.
Yes,
writing.
and sometimes the execution of some of the things that you thought were brilliant might not have been as brilliant as you thought of when you were a kid, and hence the score that the reviewer gave when Dan, you were talking. What was it again? What was the exact phrase?
The phrase was not one of Disney's proudest moments or the greatest movie in the world, but one of my personal favorites. 1 star out of 10. So, I think that really does sum it up. Certainly does sum it up for me. Good memories. 1 star out of 10. Terrible movie.
So for you, it's a borrow, or burn, or buy.
See, I don't think it fits into those categories. I think it's like you have to watch it when you're a kid, and then you just have to remember. Close your eyes and remember, and that's how you do it.
What about you, Tom? Are you going to stray from our standard rating system as Dan finds a way? You know, Dan, have you noticed that Dan finds a way every show to stray from our standard system?
Obviously, the standard system is not adequate.
You might be right.
I'm all about accuracy. We just got to be truthful here.
So it's definitely not a buy. That's for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be a shame to burn it. So it has to come. It has to fall in the borrow category then.
Yep. You see, you've got the problem. It doesn't work. You can't be in the middle. I'll tell you why. So here's the scale, right?
Yep.
There's 1, 2, and 3. Can we see that? Right? Mm-hmm. And you, Tom, kind of feel that it's a 1 and a 3, but you're averaging it and going for a 2 in the middle. This is what
it's definitely not a 3. It's either the 1 or a 2.
No. Well, no. The reason I'm saying 1 and 3 is it's got cool black cars and cool boats, and that's really cool. But then it's got everything else, right? So it's just really polarizing.
Yep.
So anyway.
Yep.
Sorry. Who's next?
Ricketts.
I'm going to kind of break the system as well. I think it's a film that should only ever be watched twice. Once as a child, then watch it again as an adult, and then walk away. Walk away.
I like it.
Yep.
I like it. Yep. But be prepared for the baggage that might happen to the child in you.
I'm kind of happy I saw it again.
Yeah.
And I never want to think about it again now.
Yeah.
It's done.
All right. Well, I'm going to introduce another new category, which is buy the thing, then wish you didn't. So
Buys regret.
Buy and regret.
Here is an interesting thing about this film, though, is if there was a remake, I would definitely want to see it.
Yes, I'm here.
Usually it's the other way around. Most of the times the remakes are not worth it. But in this case, I would say the remake is probably going to be better and worth seeing.
Yeah, I agree.
It has potential.
Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you, gentlemen, for what feels like an epic online coronavirus-inspired Voyage of the Geek. That's 3 episodes, the end of our journey into Condorman. The next time you'll see us will be with a brand new film, where we'll break it into some segments, break it into some discussion. Until then, it's bye for me.
Bye-bye.
See you later, guys.
What is your purpose here? How many of you